way.
What's the tribe vibe today on a Monday?
The tribe vibe. Well, you know what I want to know? Would the tribe be down for this deal? For a new running back? Are the Broncos in the market for a running back? What would the cost be to grab new running back? And the name of that running back is Antonio Gibson from New England. He's 26 years old. He has a cap hit of $4.5 million. But now that we're past June 1st, the Patriots could save $2.3 million by shipping him out. CBS Sports has an article on it right now, and they say that the Broncos, Cardinals, and Saints would be interested in Gibson's services if the Patriots were to make him available. And in fact, CBS and the author Cody Benjamin says that the Broncos are the most reasonable fit.
Okay.
And his prediction is he ultimately ends up getting traded to the Denver Broncos. So what does that mean for the Denver Broncos? What would they have to give up? What role then would Gibson serve? And we're talking about just a year ago as second fiddle in New England, rushes for 538 yards and receives 206 yards worth. So, just a little north of 700 yards. As the second fiddle, he would come into Denver and be the second fiddle, I would imagine, behind a guy like RJ Harvey. Cecil, depending on what you believe the cost is here, I'm very intrigued by this.
Yeah, very intrigued by it as well because I wanted the Broncos to be in on Antonio Gibson last year when he hits the open market because the price tag wasn't going to be exorbitant and he's the right type of back that you need for Sean Payton because Gibson, I remember he came out of Memphis and he was a wide receiver. And it was him and Patrick Taylor. They're splitting time in the backfield for Memphis. Taylor going on with the Green Bay Packers, and then Antonio Gibson going on with Washington initially. He was the type of guy where it's like, okay, he's a receiver, but now he's going to play running back. So what is he? Because he can run routes, but he has power at 228 pounds, and he's a swift player as well. So you get a 3-down player. It's not going to tip your hand if Antonio Gibson is out there, if it's a run, if it's a pass, anything like that. And he can pass protect. It's a very important thing. And here's the thing. When Audric Estime is on the field, I know they're probably not going to throw him the ball. If I'm a linebacker and it's third down and for whatever reason Audric Estime is on the field and I know that he's going to go out on a little screen pass or, some sort of flare route, I'm just going to be like, yeah, I got this. Audric Estime, receiving, yeah, I got him covered. No problem. Mm-hmm. If that's Antonio Gibson, I don't know if he's running it or if he's catching it. I don't know if he's staying in the block because he can. With Estime, I'm also, as a defense, because we often talk about weaknesses. If I'm a defense coordinator planning for Denver and I see Jaleel McLaughlin out there and it's a third down situation, I'm sending the house at the little guy.
Go crush him.
I'm doing the same thing at Audric Estime, and he's a big guy. Mm-hmm. He's a big fella. I'm going to send the house I'm going to send double-A gap blitz, pick one. I bet you're going to pick wrong, and I'm going to hit Bo Nix. That's the problem you have with guys like Estime, Jaleel out there, and even RJ Harvey, not yet proven in pass protection. This is just the God's honest truth. With Gibson out there, you wouldn't know, is he going to block? Is he going to run? Is he going to run a route and catch the ball? And that's an asset for the Broncos that they currently don't have on the roster. And he'd be be happy to be the backup to RJ Harvey. He'd be a great compliment to RJ Harvey. He'd bring some power to the field like Audric Estime, but he'd also be a plus receiver and a plus pass protector compared to Audric Estime. And the price tag you could get Gibson for is likely the same that you used on Audric Estime, and hell, it might be Audric Estime himself.
Let me ask you this going back to the draft with this running back question in mind.
Mm-hmm.
If they were to get one of Genty, Kev liked Hampton, I liked Travion, I'm not sure Travion's going to be this giant pass protector with his frame, but would we feel the same way here today on June 2nd, like, oh, this is an incomplete running back room, if the name was one of those three I just rattled off and not RJ Harvey?
Or Devin Neal.
And that later than what we're talking about where the Broncos were with RJ.
Yeah.
So I still feel it'd be a little incomplete.
It would be incomplete because Jaleel, to that point, again, pre-draft, Jaleel might be real motivated now to catch better passes out of the backfield, to be more, consistent as a receiver out of the backfield. But at the time of the draft, it would still be an incomplete backfield.
Okay.
Because you're relying on Jaleel McLaughlin, who's limited in his skill set, which he just is. Mm-hmm. Again, if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. And then you would still be relying on Audric Estime, and I hate the fact that they're relying so much on Audric Estime. If Estime works out and he was like your fourth guy, and like, oh my God, this guy came out of nowhere. I'm fine with that. If he's like your Tyler Bidet, we're like, man, he has an opportunity. I'm fine with that. But this is a guy you're kind of just handing him the job with RJ Harvey, who should be handed the job. But like you're handing it to Estime, who proved nothing last year except he can't hold on to the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, even with one of those backs, I'd still see it as somewhat of an incomplete room. And that's where this draft class being so good is going to force guys out. And there's going to be teams trying to sneak things through the practice squad. I think the Broncos need to be very wise with how they watch other backfields, whether it's a trade for Antonio Gibson or maybe you look at a team like the Bears and they just give up on Roschon Johnson, something like that. That's something I would keep an eye on there as well. And because I mentioned Devin Neal, don't think the Saints were to sneak him through to the practice squad. But if they chose Clyde Edwards-Helaire over him, something like that, then maybe there's a possibility. This big draft class is going to lead to somebody's getting through.
Oh, even if it's not a rookie, like, hey, you won that battle, so somebody's getting...
So then the veteran gets pushed out.
Yeah.
And, I mean, point blank period, I don't think it's Antonio Gibson because it's not like Travion Williams, who has always had the talent back at Texas A&M, never played up to his potential, like, at all.
Yeah.
Because I've been, in Dynasty Fantasy Football, I've been like, Travion Williams will hit one of these days, and Morgan Freeman voice, he did not hit at all whatsoever. But if that were the case, one of these guys hits, then all of a sudden there's talent that's going to be released, and you've got to be ready for that.
I would also say this of like, oh, man, you guys are just both ready to give up on Audric Estime and Tyler Bidet? Yeah, I am. If Bo Nix struggled more than he struggled in last year's regular season and his rookie season, again, weeks 1 through 5 were rough. Weeks 5 through 18, more good than bad. If it weren't that case, I'd definitely give some of these younger guys a longer runway. But, dude, this rebuild, this reboot, if you're VJ, it's been accelerated because of Bo. It's been accelerated because of Sean and Bo and then what VJ's been able to do with this defense. But this isn't a, hey, we're still kind of coming out of this rebuild phase and let's figure out what we can be in a couple of years. You're even ahead of me on that timeline. But this is right now. There is a very limited window financially to strike while the iron's hot with Bo Nix. And if there's some casualties because of play or salary cap, well, then so freaking be it. It's not about feelings. It's about W's. So I'm timeline on Estime, on Bidet, on Franklin. Like I said, I'm ready to speed this up a little bit. You either can or you cannot. And you get on board with Bo Nix, Sean Payton, and these Broncos, or you find yourself a new damn job.
Yeah, and I mean, it happens quickly. So there's going to be good players at the running back position that are released either to put through the practice squad or just that are straight up released. I'm just looking over rosters right now. If the Raiders let go of Zamir White, I would have interest there if I was the Broncos. Same. If the Jaguars let go of LaQuint Allen, I talked about him before the draft, got a little James Cook to his name, Syracuse kid. Yeah. So it's like there's going to be opportunity out there. Kimani Vidal might not make the Chargers this year. I called the week that he scored his first touchdown, the first game he ever played in, against the Broncos. Kimani Vidal can play. So keep an eye. My favorite job in the NFL is the pro scout that pays attention to everybody else's team. Yeah. Because then you go, don't you dare cut Todd Davis in New Orleans and then scoop him up.
He's just that guy behind the corner, the tree or whatever. Just waiting.
The yellow suit, right? Ready to go.
I'm waiting for that. All right, Broncos fans, what say you? Do they need to attack the running back room? Do you need to go get a guy like Gibson from the Patriots? Or are you cool with what the running back room currently is to give guys like Audric Estime and Tyler Bidet a little bit more of a runway? Let us know at 303-713-1043. And don't forget to throw your